Hello everyone, this is Man Hong. Today, Dazhen and I will share our project with all of you, which is about the impact of COVID-19 and community mobility on vaccination. In this project, we aim to investigate the relationship between COVID-19, community mobility, and vaccination in the United States. By targeting the data of the first 2 months after President Biden's inauguration, we built several dashboards to observe the impact of political standpoint on COVID-19, 3 LDA models to model the popular topics on tweets, and the elective binomial regression model to model the vaccination take-up rate during this period. It has been almost 1.5 years since the outbreak of COVID-19, and the whole world has been fighting against this sudden but non-rolling pandemic. The vaccination has made it possible to return to normal life. This project aims to study the development of COVID-19 in the United States during this vaccination period. Firstly, we apply topic modeling to explore the topics on social media and its changes. Secondly, we use regression model to analyze the factors influencing vaccination, including the COVID-19 cases, community mobility, and social media sentiment. Lastly, with visualization, we explore the potential impact of political standpoint and the state level. With these works, we can capture some insight about the development of COVID-19 in the United States. The whole world is still in the grip of COVID-19 pandemic, with total confirmed cases over 158 million. Although COVID-19 is largely under control in some countries, the number of new cases has been rising globally over the last several weeks. And India's daily confirmed cases exceeded 400,000, setting a new global record. The fight against COVID-19 is obstacle-packed. The vaccine is the key in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. It is encouraging to see that as of 18th February, 7 vaccines have been launched. At the same time, more than 200 additional vaccine candidates remain in development. Until now, more than 1.27 billion vaccines have been administered worldwide. The United States is one of the epicenters of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the number of deaths accounts for 1/6 of global deaths. During this pandemic, the United States held the 2020 presidential election. After President Biden took office, the United States achieved its goal of completing 200 million doses in 100 days ahead of schedule. The prevention and control of COVID-19 and the resumption of work and production are in the ongoing process. Therefore, we started the development of the COVID-19 pandemic during this period with the United States as our target. In this research, we aim to understand the relationship between multiple factors related to COVID-19 vaccinations in the United States. In particular, we examine the impact of political standpoint at the state level. We focused on the first 2 months after President Biden's inauguration and studied the prevailing topics on tweets and the factors influencing vaccination take-up rate during this period. To begin with, we collected the COVID-19 related data, including the number of cases and deaths, community mobility, tweets, and vaccination. And these are the sources of the dataset we used in our project. Then we performed the data processing. For tweets, we obtained the content of the tweets by hydrator according to the ID and performed data cleaning of the text. Next, we move on to the technical analysis. We visualize the community mobility, COVID-19 cases, and vaccination data at the state level to explore the potential impact of vaccination on mobility and COVID-19, as well as impact of political standpoint. Then, we conducted topic modeling using LDA model to find the concerns of the public in the United States on social media and its changes during the target duration. Subsequently, we built a negative binomial regression model to explore the relationship between vaccination and COVID-19 cases, mobility, social media sentiment.
Thanks, Ma Hong. Next, please. So here comes to the data visualization. So to explore the impact of political standpoint on vaccination and community mobility, we divided the states into red states, the Republican, and the blue states, the Democratic, based on the 2020 presidential election results of the United States. Since the data we analyzed are all ratios relating to the population in each state, we use the ratio of the population in each state to the total population as a weight and perform a weighted average calculation to compare the differences between blue and red states. The figure shows that blue and red states have similar levels of vaccination rates at the beginning of vaccination rollout. This can be explained by that there was not enough vaccine in the early stages of vaccination and demand was over the supply. Over time, the blue states show higher vaccination rate and faster growth speed, which suggests that people in blue states have higher willingness to get vaccinated. Next, please. So for the mobility, the figure reveals that both blue and red states show an upward trend of mobility in parks, grocery and pharmacy, parks, retail and recreation, transit station, and downward trend in residential, suggesting people are gradually returning to a normal pace of life, while blue states have higher mobility in residential and lower mobility in workplaces, parks, grocery and pharmacy, retail and recreation, transit station, and red states, showing that people in the blue states are less likely to go to public places during this period. Next, please. We also made a word cloud to visualize the common words appeared in the tweets to get a better understanding of the data. So the word cloud shows that most common words in this 2-month period were COVID vaccine, vaccine support, pandemic, wear mask, social distancing, and quarantine. While pharmacy technician, CVS Health, pharmacist, COVID were related to US government staffing efforts for hiring pharmacists and pharmacy technicians to support vaccine rollout. Next. So for the technical analysis, we built a latent district allocation model for topic modeling to study the topics that occur in the tweets originating from the United States during the first 2 months after the inauguration of President Biden, where he promised 100 million jabs of COVID-19 vaccine in his first 100 days. We have in total 20,835 tweets from 20 January to 20 March 2021. And the steps of building an LDA model include text transformation, create bigrams and trigrams, lemmatized words, also to convert tokenized words into corpus and dictionary. Next. In LDA model, we need to specify the number of topics we desire in the model. We use coherence score as a metric to assess the quality of topics based on number of topics selected by measuring the degree of semantic between higher scoring words in the topic. We can see that the number of topics equals to 2 returns the highest coherence score. Next. So this figure shows the corresponding topic generated. We use contextual knowledge to explain the 2 topics. The first topic is dominated by pandemic, followed by vaccine. We may interpret it as the topic prevailing pre-vaccination period, where the pandemic was rising and people were waiting for vaccine. It may also be related to the pandemic in California. The second topic is dominated by vaccine. We may interpret it as a topic prevailing post-vaccination period, where people were intensely talking about work from home, and expressing gratitude. Also, it may be related to support of vaccine rollout, including pharmacy technician recruitment. Next. So for the technical analysis, we built a regression model to predict the vaccination take-up rate with respect to COVID-19 cases and deaths, community mobility, and Twitter sentiment. So we use negative binomial regression since our dependent variable daily vaccination is the count data. The time range for the model is the same as the that of LDA model. The result shows that our model fits well in the testing set and can be used to check the trend of vaccination take-up. Next. So the table shows the summary from the regression for testing set. Among all the variables, the log biweekly cases, mobility to grocery and pharmacy, and mobility to workplaces are significant. For the log biweekly cases, the lower number of cases of COVID-19, the more the daily vaccination, since the coefficient is negative. So this indicates the lesser the cases in previous 2 weeks may stimulate people's willingness to take the vaccination and reinforcing people's confidence with the effectiveness of the vaccine. For the mobility to grocery and pharmacy, in the United States, many vaccinations are taken in the pharmacies like CVS Health. Thus, it is reasonable that when people spending more time in pharmacy, the more people are vaccinated. Also, for the mobility to workplaces, as people are returning to work, they may feel that the pandemic is under control and life is gradually returning to normal paces. Therefore, overconfidence may be the reason for lower vaccine take-up in this case. Next. To briefly summarize our project, the key factors influencing vaccination take-up rate are COVID-19 new cases, mobility to grocery and pharmacy, and mobility to workplaces. We also learned that people in the blue states seems to have more positive attitudes towards vaccination than red states and are more active in the prevention and control of COVID-19. Next slide, please. For the recommendation, we built a single regression model to analyze the relationship for the whole period. However, the influence of the regressors may be changed over time. So we will use panel data approach in future study. And we will also further study and practice the techniques in text analytics and NLP models. Lastly, it is our honor to have Prof. Ben as our supervisor for both projects. Thank you very much.